When I look back over 2014, the year that's just gone, there's been many things I've been through, many highlights. One of the major things that stood out for me this year is the fact that God has been so merciful. He's been so good. When I look back at myself, there's been some things that I've said that I shouldn't have said. Some actions that I've taken that I shouldn't have taken. And going into 2015, I simply want to do all that God would have me to do. I simply want to be all that God would have me to be. And the devotional thought for today that I want to focus on is, how does one practically do this? In John 14:15, Jesus says something which I think speaks to this issue. He says, "If you love me, keep my commandments." So God has some things that He wants us to do. And in the things that He wants us to do, He says, if you love me, keep my commandments. So me doing what God would have me to do springs from my love for Him. So I take a look at the commandments. I take a look at the things that God would have me to do. And if I'm not doing too well on the commandments, that tells me something about my love for God. But the aim then isn't simply to try and keep the commandments more. It's broader than that. It's to love God more. And when I love God more, I'll keep the commandments more. So following this line of thinking, the next question that naturally arises from what we've just discussed is, how does one love God more? How does one love God more? The same author, John, in 1 John 4:19 says something interesting. He says, we love Him because He first loved us. We love Him because He first loved us. Notice the order. God doesn't love us because we first loved Him. We love God because He first loved us. So the way I love God more is in beholding God's love for me. When I behold God's love for me, what happens is that love from me for God grows. And the natural result of that is, if you love me, keep my commandments. Now, maybe there's something in 2014 that you struggled with. Something that you wanted to stop doing, but you found within yourself the inability to stop doing it. Something that you wanted to start doing, but you found within yourself the inability to start doing it. Perhaps something I want to throw out to you for 2015. The answer to your struggle is love. Not your love, but God's love. And when you behold God's love, and you spend time thinking about God's love, I'm just beholding the manner of God's love. Love for God will grow inside of you, and the natural result, the natural response is doing what God would have you to do. The greatest or the most poignant place where we can see or behold God's love is at the point where God showed His love to us at His greatest point. And greater love hath no man than this, than a man lay down his life for his friends. I'd like to submit to you that our struggles can be overcome at the foot of the cross. Because it's at the cross where God, or Christ, manifested His love to us most poignantly, at its greatest point. And so my struggles, the things that I failed to do in 2014 that I want to do in 2015, can be met by spending time beholding the matchless love of Christ at the cross. So going into 2015, Jesus says something to us which I think echoes through to right now. If you love me, keep my commandments. 2015, I want to love God more. And God wants us to love Him. How will you respond to God's love?